Welcome back to another midweek episode of the Andrew Hines Real Estate Investing Podcast. I've got a thunderstorm going on in the background, so you might hear it. Fresh recording for you. If you've been following the weekend episodes, there's been a lot of really good ones lately. The one that just aired, we had Bridget Clark on the show, and she was talking about basically doing pad splits, which they do in the States, where you basically have a whole bunch of people renting rooms in your house. And I think that that's a bit of a way forward for Canada, and I really enjoyed the episode. I thought, very out of the box, very different, and I've got a few more in the pipeline that are all very unique, and really looking forward to that. So as you know, these midweek episodes are just an update. I want to hear from you, get some feedback, because sometimes I'm not sure if you guys are enjoying this, if this is something you want me to continue doing, or if you just want to stick to the interviews in the midweek, or it's the interviews on the weekend. That's cool too. So by all means, shoot me messages, shoot me emails, let me know what you think. What you'd want to see more of. I mean, ultimately, if I don't really hear a whole lot of feedback around these, I might stop doing them. So I that's why I'm just putting that out there, because I know the appetite for real estate content has shifted over the last couple of years. So I just want to make sure I'm doing stuff that you're seeing value in. I'll continue on the path, because I know there are people that ask, they want to know what we're working on. And one of the things that I'm working on, as you know, is the Florida off-market acquisitions. So it's been a good day. This is Wednesday as I'm recording this, and one of the offers that went out this morning and came back, we got the deal for like $65,000, a piece of 20-acre land in northern Florida, and we got comps and basically a recommendation from a realtor to list it at $199. So great start to the day, and we're building a business, so it's a very entrepreneurial real estate related business. And I said this to Matt, my business partner, a couple of days ago, that things have just been so different in Canada for so long, where, ever since 2022, when the rates started to change, people just weren't the same. Like, there wasn't that mentality of winning. And I just so badly wanted to bring that back. What if we could just win harder, bigger, better now than ever before? And I truly think that's possible for absolutely everybody, because you don't have to be a victim of that market condition. And I know I've talked about that on a previous episode too, but that's where your mindset's got to be, in my opinion, is you got to be looking at how, like, those are just conditions. Those are outside your control, but there are certain things inside your control. So it's really cool to see that happening. I'll just, since I'm talking about it, give you a little bit of an insight into some of the things we're wondering about, or constantly improving. We're looking at our team and how they work and what we've incentivized, because we have several deals now in the last week that have gone up for double closes, which means we don't own them yet. We've disclosed that we don't own them, but we've listed them on the MLS, and we've got permission from the sellers to market them that way. And we actually have one that's conditionally sold already, so sold like the day it listed. So I'm not going to get into our numbers because it's not a done deal, but they work. The numbers on that deal work, and looking forward to more of that. So it's fun getting this stuff going. I know a lot of people have sort of asked me about it, and there's a little bit of an interest in kind of following along. So that's sort of what I'm doing with sharing these details. Obviously, like, we're pretty open about what we're doing, Matt and I. We don't share every last detail just for live and active deals, but we definitely are bean spilling, we'll say. Anyways, so that's something that we're going to continue doing a bunch of. If you have any interest in lending to us, partnering with us in some way, or even potentially working for us as one of our acquisitions managers, I highly recommend you check out Matt's Instagram. He has a list. I also have a private investors list through my Instagram. If you just go to my link tree, if you want to add yourself there in the future when we have offerings, that's where you want to be. And same token, I know I talked about this last week, so we are rolling out the offering. It's now officially listed with our exempt market dealer for our camp and glamping facility up in Tobermory, Ontario. So this is for accredited investors only, but if you are interested in investing with us, we're projecting returns in excess of 20% IRR, so annual return. And it's going to be fun. Like, we're excited about this business. It's like the nice thing about right now is I feel really excited about a lot of the stuff I'm working on. And like I said, like, we got to get back to winning in business and in real estate. And so many people for so long have been on the sidelines or down and out or what have you. And I'm just really, really excited to just get back to winning. And if you want to be a part of this with us, I would love to chat with you about it. Best thing you could do is you can either message me on Instagram, or you could, once again, join our private list. It's through my link tree on Instagram if you want to just join up, and you would be sent out the details on that. So, all right. So this one, I don't really have a ton for you today. Just wanted to give you a little bit of a status update and let you know that, right now it's all about thinking differently, like the market, thinking creative. I also just interviewed somebody else on my show. It hasn't aired yet. And the theme, and I'm seeing it over and over again, is you're looking for your angle. So you find a strategy within real estate, you find a unique angle and a unique value proposition you can bring to the market, and then you just pull the trigger on it and go. And if you go after the stuff, like I interviewed a guy who would basically go after land that was obscure shapes that people didn't want and target it for development. And he became an expert in taking the land that nobody else wanted and getting it done, and basically getting development approvals. And I found that hilarious because that's what I've always done. I've always taken the stuff that people didn't want to do, and I just became the expert. And part of that I actually think is a negative for me, because I'm one of those guys that can get into the weeds. Like I think I'm fairly analytical. Many of you would agree just based on the way I ask questions and stuff on the podcast. And because of that, sometimes I'm too into the weeds. And so I've taken, properties that were in a heritage zone, and I became friends with the heritage planner and had my angle, and I learned the rules, and that's been my MO for pretty much my entire investing career. And I think that's a good thing, but I think that it's also very important in your investing career to take a step back and see the bigger picture. And I told this story the other day, like if you see the grass is greener on the other side, or there's a way that other people are doing it that's easier than you, and you know that you're highly analytical, sort of like me, maybe it's time to take a step back and think about how you can apply your skills and partner with the right people who complement those skills to allow you to be far more efficient in your revenue generation, far more efficient in your optimizing your returns. So that's really what's been on my mind lately. And as I mentioned, I was talking to Matt, my business partner, Matt Pichet, about this yesterday. I had him on the podcast, so that episode's going to air in a few weeks. And one of the things I related back to is I actually used to work at a hotel in Woodstock, Ontario. I was a dishwasher. I worked there since I was like 14 years old. And it was like a kind of a grueling job. Like I was always scrubbing pots and pans, and I would see like banquet servers walking around, laughing, talking, hanging out. And I'm like, wow, that job actually seems so much better than my job. And for a while there, I had the wrong mentality. Like, oh, like I'm, darn it, like those surfers, like why aren't they working? But then I thought about it, I'm like, hey, I'd actually just like to do that job. So I applied and I got that job, and I was way happier. I made more money for the time I put in. I worked hours I was more comfortable with. I enjoyed the job more. And the reason I tell that story is I think we all do that in investing too, and then we talk ourselves out of it. So this is the opposite of saying don't go after the shiny object in a way. I'm not saying go after every shiny object, but if you've done your due diligence on a strategy and you can see objectively the returns are higher, the relative risk per deal and per transaction is lower, the market metrics are better, and you're sitting on the sidelines because you've already set up a team where you are, or you're already established where you are, then you're selling yourself short. And this is speaking from somebody who did this for a really long time. And I was so stuck on London, not wanting to start from scratch because I was burnt out. Like I did all those student rental projects. I did student rental flips in my company. We sold them, purpose built. I bird my own student rentals, general contracting, the whole thing, and I burnt out. So I was sort of a victim of my own poor business structure, because I didn't properly delegate back then. I never had an assistant, and look what it got me. It caused me to see the market change and correctly in like 2018 say, I'm done with this. Like these prices are stupid. But rather than go find a Matt Pichet, somebody finding off-market deals and do it like he did. I actually did send out flyers in 2019, but then I quit on it. I should have been partnering with somebody saying, hey, I obviously bring the following skills to the table. Can I partner with you, or can I pay you to coach me? That would have been what I would have changed, because I mean, now I'm getting that full education in off-market acquisition, which to me, I always felt like I needed. I wasn't the expert. I could do a lot of things, very, very experienced in real estate and investing since 2011, but I don't know everything. And I always want to bring in experts and stop inventing the wheel. So again, recapping, I burnt out. I saw that there were better opportunities. I did not take them. I did not execute because I was not willing to, so to speak, put my money where my mouth is. And I wish that I had, but I'm also very grateful that I learned the lesson later rather than not at all. And I think that's one of the things about this podcast that you've probably picked up if you've watched on for a while. Like, I don't claim to be perfect. I think I can analyze a situation fairly well. I think I've made an insane amount of mistakes in my investing career, and nothing's ever perfect, but I try to never make the same mistake twice. And I think I'm doing a better job of that than I ever was. So again, boiling it back to what am I trying to work on right now? What are we trying to think about? It's metrics. It's how to do better, So Matt and I are looking at, we have so many deals. Like we're closing deals. We closed a deal 2 days ago. That was actually our first deal we ever closed. So we bought that for $26,000. We're going to list it for like $74,900 and probably finish somewhere in the 60s. And one of the things I'm starting to do is actually run an internal rate of return, which a lot of larger investment firms will do. And that's when you're looking at, when is my money going out? When's it coming back? And what's the overall return based on that? And so I've basically been spending today, we've analyzed deal after deal after deal after deal. And it's kind of fun. Like, we're just getting into the nitty gritty. We've got our team of managers, acquisitions managers, feeding us these deals to review to finally approve. They're under contract, and it's just our question: are we going to go ahead with these? So we're doing several. We're moving forward on them. Some of them we're looking at, hey, we got to raise quite a bit of money there, and yes, we're making money, but can we more efficiently utilize that capital? So that's really, it's a good problem to have. And I'm glad I've got a partner like Matt who's done this so much in Canada. We can basically take our knowledge, combine it, my knowledge of Florida and everything I've done with that, and push it forward. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share for today. Just a little bit of kind of what we're working on. What are the business challenges we're having? Because let's face it, no matter what business you're in, you're constantly going to have different challenges as you grow. And like, for instance, a concept like double closing, where we don't own the property, we're listing it. We're figuring out how that upsets title companies, how it challenges brokers, how when people are looking at it, they get weirded out. Well, wait a minute, you don't own it, but you're selling it to me. And we're working on our answers to those objections. And we never would have known what we didn't know, right? It's not like we had other people doing this. I heard of the concept and I felt that we could implement it. And so far we have. But there's going to be those hiccups, right? Just working through the process and figuring a way through it. So we're doing that right now. And some days are harder than others, and Matt and I are working really hard, wearing a lot of hats right now to evaluate these deals, to structure the business. But damn, is it fun. Like, it feels like winning. And I can't say that I've won, but it feels that way. And I'm really excited to run the business and keep on doing that. So I appreciate you coming along for this journey with us and following along with us. I appreciate the people who have invested with us so far. We've already had investors basically helping us with raising money and lending their money into these, which pay monthly. So that's definitely something if you want to talk to us about. You can certainly reach out. Like I said, join any of those lists, either Matt or my own, and we'd love to talk to you more about it. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Once again, reach out to me, Andrew at andrew-hines.com, at the Andrew Hines on Instagram. I'd love to connect with the audience, the people who are, here, you're here every week, you're listening, you're watching. Let's connect. And reminder, REI Hot Seat now on the podcast platforms. You can listen on iTunes, Apple Podcasts. You can listen on Spotify, Amazon Music. So if that's our deal analysis show. So if you're hot on Ontario, you're hot on Canada, and you want to see deals that cash flow, you want to see multifamily, I basically now have a full cast of multifamily realtors that just live and breathe multifamily, and they come on every week and we crunch numbers on deals. We talk critical topics and concepts that affect multifamily buyers. We've got a deal that we just analyzed. It was like 7% cash on cash in Ontario and Niagara region. So some cool stuff happening there. I highly recommend checking out that show. We just made it that much more available. So if you're on Spotify, you can watch the video, or if you're driving, you just turn off the screen and you can still listen. So working on lots. I think maybe too much at times, but like I said, having fun with doing it. I really appreciate you guys. I really do welcome your feedback, because I want to know, do you want me to keep doing these episodes just kind of totally off the cuff, unscripted, sharing ideas and sharing what I'm working on? Or do you want to just keep it to the interviews for now? Love to hear it. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.